What happens when a company under fire decides not to hide but to smile instead? So, just 1 week after Hive's chairman, Si-hyuk, aka Hitman Bang, spent 12 hours inside a police interrogation room, he was back in public. But not at a press conference, not in court, but at a family night with fireworks, laughing and posing for photos. And for some people, this could be a reassurance. For others, though, especially journalists invested in portraying him as cornered, it could be infuriating. So I'm gonna cover this issue in this video. So HYBE, on their official website, published this as part of their PR announcement on September 29th. HYBE hosts Family Night with fireworks at headquarters. And let me read you this article. HYBE announced on September 29th that it held the 2025 HYBE Family Night on September 27th at its Yongsan headquarters in Seoul. First launched in 2023, this in-house event has now reached its third year. The company invites employees' families and friends to its building on the day of the Seoul International Fireworks Festival held at Yeouido Hangang Park. Now, for those of you who are not familiar, the Seoul International Fireworks Festival is held every fall at Yeouido Hangang Park, right on the river, and it's one of the city's biggest events, drawing hundreds of thousands of people who pack into the park and surrounding bridges hours in advance just to get a decent view. I actually attended that several years ago. It was cool. It was cool, but it was so packed. You know what I'm saying? Like traffic jams, subway crowding, and long waits are all part of the experience. That's why, and it's this year. I think there were like the authorities estimated that 1 million people attended. It was super packed. That's why I think HYBE's Yongsan headquarters is such a prime spot. It's located near Hangang Bridge, and it offers a direct, unobstructed view of the fireworks across the river. So instead of battling the chaos in Yeouido, employees and their families could watch in comfort from the company's rooftop garden, catering, and cafe, essentially getting the best seat in the city without the hassle. All right, so let me get back to the text. So this year, 936 people applied for the lottery, HYBE says, resulting in a 13-to-1 competition rate. A total of 73 teams, about 250 guests were selected and invited. Okay, so 73 teams and 250 guests were selected and invited. Located near Hangang Bridge, HYBE's Yongsan headquarters is considered one of the best viewing spots for the fireworks, HYBE explains, offering a sweeping view of the Han River. For the event, the company transformed the staff cafeteria, cafe, and rooftop garden into a sky garden, creating a city picnic atmosphere. Guests took photos at flower and butterfly-themed photo zones, enjoyed dinner, and participated in a lucky draw. When the fireworks show began, the highlight of the night, the crowd erupted in cheers, with families gathering in groups to take commemorative photos. Adding to the excitement, check this out, HYBE chairman Si-hyuk made a surprise appearance, greeting employees and their families, watching the fireworks together, sharing words of thanks, and even posing for photos upon request. So there were 2 photos that they shared. I think they shared a total of like 7 to 8 photos on their website, but there are 2 photos where Si-hyuk was included. Hold on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, a total of 8 photos. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 2 of them had Si-hyuk in it. So in this photo, Si-hyuk's holding a microphone and speaking to the audience, right? Staff members, employees, and their families. And in this photo, he's posing with other members, probably staff or employees or their family members. So that's pretty cool. Earlier in May, Hive explains, Hive also hosted Hive Family Day to mark Family Month, inviting employees' families to tour the headquarters. So that's what happened early earlier in May of this year. Visitors explored office spaces, as well as a screening room with theater-grade sound and a large screen, recording studios, practice rooms, and filming studios used by Hive's artists, giving them a deeper look into the company's culture and work environment. A Hive representative explained, the event was designed not just as a welfare program, but as an experience where employees and their families can enjoy and connect together. We will continue to create programs and systems that help our people feel both satisfied and proud of the company. Hive operates a wide range of family-friendly benefits, including extended maternity leave, congratulatory allowances, and child care leave for both men and women. It also offers family care leave, child care fee support, and partnerships with leading resorts and hotels in Korea, allowing employees to enjoy discounted rates. And ladies and gentlemen, that's how Hive became one of the best places to work, officially appointed by the government. They won an award last year, which so many haters, including Min Hee-jin supporters, tried to force the government to cancel. That was funny. Now, I have this. So this is a sustainability report that Hive published this year, and it actually talks about this family night events. This document is pretty cool. I thought about going over the whole document with you, but it's pretty long. So what was it called? Family night? All right, right here. So healthy and flexible working environment. Don't worry, I'm gonna go through the haters' reaction. There's a particular journalist I'm going to talk about later in the video. But let's look at this first. Healthy and flexible working environment. About Team content creation. About Team is a content series designed to introduce the various teams and departments within Hive, helping employees gain a deeper understanding of the company's operations and organizational structure. The series is published on HYBE.net as well as on external recruitment platforms such as Job Planet and LinkedIn. I think HYBE.net is an internal network, strengthening cross-department collaboration and communication while contributing to talent attraction. In 2024, a total of 11 segments were produced, featuring Protocol Team, Data Lab, and Healthcare Center, along with Weavers Con Festival and Hive Family Night. Here we go. About team content on Hive Family Night. So they made contents about it, like here, 2024 Hive Family Night. Watch the video right here. Interesting. Also, let's see, Family Night. Hive Family Night, fireworks with family. So there's actually a section dedicated to this event within this document. And for this, still we're under healthy and flexible working environment. In-house employees and welfare facilities. They talk about like cafeteria, canteen. Yeah, Hive has one of the most like the best canteens in Korean workplaces. Fitness center, healthcare center, and in fact, Hive is the first entertainment company to hold a mental care center within their headquarters. Medical checkup, yeah, they got great support. Work-life balance, in-house cafe, coffee class, year-end event, and Hive Family Night. Fireworks with family. Let's read this up. We organize Hive Family Night to invite employees' families and friends to experience our facilities and enjoy a special time together. In 2024, a viewing event was held at Hive's Yongsan office building during the Yeouido Fireworks Festival, and more than 350 employees and their invited guests joined. So at the time, it was, and here are some photos, 350 employees. And this time, how many? 250 73 teams and 250 guests were invited. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so that's how they introduced this event within their sustainability report for 2024. Now, this shows how much effort that the company puts into building a real community around its people. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about the music or the business side. It's about creating a culture where families are invited to be part of the experience. And the idea of watching, the Seoul fireworks from Hive's Yongsan HQ with the Sky Garden setup sounds pretty magical if you think about it. And Bang Si-hyuk showing up in person to greet everyone. That really says a lot about the kind of connection that Hive wants to maintain. And it could be reassuring to see that the same company, shaping the careers of our favorite artists and groups, is also trying to support the people working behind the scenes. And it makes me feel like the success of HYBE artists is actually tied to something bigger. That is a community that celebrates together, not just the corporate machine, which is one of many reasons why I'm investing in this entity, in this company, because I care about that environment and community and culture. You know what I'm saying? Even though haters say all sorts of different things. Now, here's something I'm gonna. So the timing of this event is what makes it especially noteworthy. I'm pretty sure they didn't plan this in advance or something, but because just a week earlier, Bang Si-hyuk appeared before police for a second round of questioning. Remember, I talked about this on my channel. So on the morning of September 22nd, the Financial Crimes Investigation Division of the Seoul Metropolitan Police summoned Bang Si-hyuk at 10 a.m. for questioning as a suspect. And this marks his second summons following the first one on September 15th, the same month. Now, police were also continuing to analyze seized materials. So a Seoul police official told reporters, following the first round of questioning, there were additional points that needed to be verified, which is why we summoned him again. Now, when they were asked whether a travel ban will be requested against Bang Si-hyuk, the official declined to comment, but emphasized that all necessary investigative steps are being carried out. Now, Bang Si-hyuk underwent more than 12 hours of intensive questioning that day. So during the first round, it was 14 hours, and the second day, second round, it was 12 hours, almost the same amount. And according to this article, so I guess there were some journalists, at least this guy, who waited outside the police just to shove a microphone into his face. But when he exited the Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency building in Mapo District at around 10:34 p.m., the article says, with a stern expression after completing the second session. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't have a stern expression, quote unquote stern expression, after being grilled for 12 hours? Anyways, the article says, to reporters' questions such as, what did you explain today? And do you admit to misleading investors? He gave no response and quickly got into a vehicle accompanied by security. Earlier that morning, around 10 a.m., Bang Si-hyuk had arrived at the Financial Crimes Investigation Division through a non-public entrance. And these photos were from the first round of questioning, when there was a quote-unquote photo line, and all sorts of journalists were gathered to take his photos. Bang Si-hyuk is indeed the journalist idol. Based on Bang Si-hyuk's testimony, the article says, the police will determine the direction of their investigation going forward. So, given this, Bang Si-hyuk showing up at HYBE Family Night so soon after being questioned by the police, I thought that was pretty cool. So instead of hiding away, he stood in front of employees and their families, like smiling and taking photos and, holding a microphone and speaking. And that kind of presence makes it feel like HYBE is confident in weathering the storm, so to say. Because some people often worry that legal troubles at the top could cast a shadow over artists or employees. But moments like this suggest that the company wants to keep things steady and supportive. It also shows that Bang Si-hyuk still values the people inside the company, not just the public image, and that's something I appreciate. Now, from a corporate lens, this is also could be a calculated move. The fact that they included these photos through this article, because the optics of Bang Si-hyuk appearing at an internal family event a week after 12 hours of police questioning are pretty significant. Because HYBE could easily have chosen to keep him out of sight until the investigation quieted down. Instead, they released official photos of him speaking and posing with staff. And that signals, once again, confidence, I think. A way of saying something like, we're not rattled, and we believe the chairman has nothing to hide. And it helps steady employee morale and reassures investors also that leadership is still intact. And at the same time, it doesn't, of course, resolve the legal uncertainty. Because that will take time. And the investigation is still ongoing. And the risk, quote unquote risk, still remain. But in terms of messaging, HYBE is clearly choosing visibility and stability over retreat. So I thought that was pretty, notable because it steadies employee morale, once again, and it reassures a lot of people, including investors, and it projects normalcy. You know what I'm saying? But most importantly, it flips the story. Bang Si-hyuk isn't lurking in the shadows. He's front and center, acting like nothing's broken. Now, do you think HYBE posting photos of Bang Si-hyuk laughing with families during family night is bound to irritate? So, who do you think these photos will irritate? I think it will definitely irritate some people. MHA, of course, if she has time to look at these photos. But also Lee Jung-guk, the Hankyoreh culture editor, who has consistently written from a pro-Min Hee-jin, pro-NewJeans angle. And he literally flew to Hong Kong to watch NewJeans live. And last year, he pushed the quote-unquote eyelid plagiarism story using, check this out, manipulated comparison thumbnail that exaggerated overlaps. And that framing spread online, fueled harassment against a rookie group, and when the court later said it couldn't legally be called plagiarism, there was no correction, just silence. Even stranger, when reports surfaced about workplace harassment involving Adore staff, Miss Kwon, the former Adore female employee at Adore when Min Hee-jin was still the CEO, Hankyoreh didn't run a single story. Every other major outlet covered it, but not Hankyoreh. And let me tell you, if Bang Si-hyuk had been the accused in that scenario, does anyone really believe that this journalist, Lee Jung-guk, would have stayed quiet? Yeah, exactly. And in fact, interestingly, even before the whole Min Hee-jin saga began, he seems to be he seemed like a fan of NewJeans. Back in November 2023, he wrote this article, "Let's learn from the innovation of Kpop," with NewJeans photo included. And then from the early phase of the Min Hee-jin saga, from May of last year, he wrote articles against Bang Si-hyuk, attacking Bang Si-hyuk. This article is titled, "Is Bang Si-hyuk's System Working?" Written by none other than Lee Jung-guk, and all these articles about NewJeans and Min Hee-jin, pro-Min Hee-jin, pro-NewJeans, anti-HYBE, anti-Bang Si-hyuk. Okay? Now, so of course, he won't be happy seeing Bang Seok portrayed as calm and approachable in these photos. Because for a reporter whose storyline is Bang Seok's legal troubles could drag K-pop down, like these photos of him smiling under fireworks directly challenge that framing. And HYBE is showing resilience, while his preferred narrative depends on portraying Bang Seok as cornered. Okay, in fact, I made a video about this recently, right? He recently wrote an article, essentially being a mouthpiece for Min Hee-jin, who allegedly said that Chairman Bang Seok also said to me that he had no plans for HYBE IPO. Now, that brings us to Lee Jung-guk's Mr. Lee's latest article that he dropped, ironically, on the same day, September 29th, when HYBE released that article for the Hive Family Night, titled, Bang Seok's Investigation Won't Hold Back K-Pop. So let me read you this article, because it's pretty interesting. It begins like this. At dusk on a hill, something approaches. Is it a wolf threatening me, or a shepherd driving his flock? The phrase, the hour of dog and wolf, describes such an uncertain, in-between time. Right now, K-pop is also living through two overlapping times, one of industry growth and another of legal risk surrounding Bang Seok. HYBE's chairman, Bang Seok, has been referred to prosecutors by the Financial Services Commission on charges of unfair trading under the Capital Markets Act. He has also endured 2 marathon police interrogations lasting more than 10 hours each. The allegations are that during the IPO process of Big Hit Music, HYBE's predecessor, he misled shareholders and reaped illicit profits worth hundreds of billions of won through a private equity fund linked to him. The fact that prosecutors, police, the National Tax Service, and the Financial Supervisory Service have all mobilized to investigate underscores how serious these allegations are. Oh, okay. That's how you prove how serious these allegations are? Okay. The pace also reflects President Lee Jae-myung. Okay, there we go. Dropping president's name again. The pace also reflects President Lee Jae-myung's policy stance that those who play games in the stock market will face ruin. HYBE has argued that the transactions were lawful investments that carried risk, but given the scale of money involved, this case will not simply disappear. Its outcome will become a test of social justice and confidence in the capital markets. Some argue that the investigation of Bang poses a threat to the growth of the K-pop industry. There's even speculation that certain industry groups may issue statements in his defense. But trying to blur the line between one man's legal troubles and the development of the entire industry is an outdated tactic, one that even big conglomerates no longer resort to. Above all, K-pop's rise and driving force cannot be reduced to a single individual. Now, what he just said is kind of ironic, given what he has written before. Now, you will find this part even more interesting. Take BTS, whom Bang Seok discovered. Their explosive global rise was propelled by hits like Dynamite and Butter. Yet, Bang Seok's name does not appear in the songwriting or composing credits. The members' solo albums have also succeeded on the global stage without his direct involvement. Or look at Golden, the theme song of today's global K-pop sensation, K-pop Demon Hunters. It is rewriting history, but again, Bang Seok had no part in it. And then, interestingly, he decides to include this image. The US offers a precedent in Lo Pyramid, the entertainment mogul who made the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC global stars in the 1990s. Despite his spectacular rise, he fell from grace due to Ponzi schemes and other crimes, a downfall captured in Netflix documentary Dirty Pop, the boy band scam. Pearl Man disappeared, but the American pop industry did not. The industry still thrives as the largest and most advanced in the world. While a founder's contributions deserve recognition, criminal charges cannot serve as bulletproof armor. Now, I really regret the fact that he used the word 방탄 in this case to push his agenda. Bulletproof armor. What did it say? Criminal charges cannot serve as bulletproof armor. And nowadays, for some reason, even politicians, especially during and before the presidential election, they use this term 방탄, like to say something, to describe a politician who has, I don't know, from their perspective, who has done something wrong, but are not getting, like, I don't know, prosecuted enough, or not getting the judgments enough. And they use that term 방탄 to describe such politicians, like situations, especially describe the politicians that they hate. And yeah, as a fan of BTS, I don't like it when, the word 방탄 is used in the context of politics, even though in such cases they didn't use the term, or they don't use the term to refer to BTS, but the concept of wearing a bulletproof armor. But that was just me. All right, let's finish this off. Lee Jung-guk says, K-pop strength lies not in one owner, but in transparent, accountable management and in the ecosystem of artists, fandoms, and industry players. Even if Bang Si-hyuk faces trial, K-pop's momentum will not stall. Artists will continue to sing and dance, and the world will continue to cheer. The hour of dog and wolf will pass. By Lee Jung-guk of Hankyoreh. Beautiful. Now, what do you think? Once again, outlets like Hankyoreh, and specifically reporter Lee Jung-guk, have consistently tied Bang Si-hyuk's legal risk to the health of the K-pop industry. And his reporting style often elevates Min Hee-jin's perspective while casting Bang Si-hyuk in a negative light, sometimes in ways that cross into advocacy rather than neutral journalism. And against that backdrop, I think, Hive's decision to distribute images of Bang surrounded by employees' families looking relaxed and human directly undermines the crisis framing. And these, because these visuals communicate stability and continuity that Hybe is carrying on, even thriving, while investigations run their course. So for critics invested in the opposite perception, like Mr. Lee Jung-guk, such imagery is inconvenient and even threatening, one could say. Now, let's talk about his article that we just read, because Mr. Lee Jung-guk's piece is the kind of writing that mistakes like purple prose for insights. Like opening with this phrase, "At dusk on a hill, something approaches. Is it a wolf or a shepherd?" That sounds less like journalism and more like a rejected script pitch for a Netflix K-drama or something. And you're not Hemingway, you're covering an IPO investigation, after all. And he spends half the article trying to inflate Bang Si-hyuk's legal risk by listing every government office with a badge and a stamp, as if repeating like police, prosecutors, NTS, FSS 4 times somehow proves guilt. Newsflash, repeating the same scary acronyms isn't evidence, is petting. Then he pivots into minimizing Bang Si-hyuk's role in K-pop's success. Bang Si-hyuk's name isn't on the credits for Dynamite or Butter. And he drops that line like it's a mic drop, when in reality, it's just cherry picking. Because here's a part that Mr. Lee Jung-guk leaves out. On Dynamite, Bang Si-hyuk is credited as a recording engineer. Okay, so producer and writers are David Stewart and Jessica Agombar, right? But Him and Bang is credited as digital audio editor. And those are actual technical credits, not decorative. And pretending he had... So Dynamite is listed as recording engineer. On Butter, he's listed as digital audio editor. Okay? Along with P-Dog. And again, those are actual technical credits. And pretending he had no involvement is either sloppy journalism or deliberate spin. Now, if we zoom out, Bang Si-hyuk is literally the writer / producer behind the backbone of BTS rise. And if you look at all the songs that he has been involved with, it's pretty incredible. Like the amount of songs that he has given birth to, pretty incredible. And yeah, check this out. He also produced Gnarly of Cat's Eye, Fake Love, Mic Drop, Spring Day, Euphoria, DNA, Serendipity. Now, if you're curious, you can go over to Genius and type in Him and Bang. Discography includes 515 songs, if not more, and it just goes on and on. Some of our favorites all time. 피땀 눈물, Blood, Sweat, Tears, Airplane Part 2, Mic Drop, Boy With Love, Angpanman, Crazy by Le Sserafim, 고민보다 고, Best of Me. It just goes on and on, right? And these aren't just footnotes. They're the very songs that carried BTS from domestic breakthrough to global phenomenon, like Boy With Love, Idol, Fake Love, DNA, Spring Day, Blood, Sweat, Tears, Fire, Run, I Need You, these songs. And nobody's arguing BTS couldn't stand on their own. The members have proven their artistry time and again. But I think reducing Bang Si-hyuk's role to quote unquote, he didn't write Dynamite or Butter, it's like saying, I don't know, Steve Jobs didn't matter at Apple because his name isn't printed on the iPhone's circuit board. You know what I'm saying? It's not analysis, it's agenda that Mr. Lee is pushing. And dragging in Low Perlman? Like, please, isn't this guy actually, didn't he go to prison for a Ponzi scheme, which he mentioned in the article? And Bang Si-hyuk has been questioned, not convicted. And it's a lazy comparison, designed to smear, not inform. Like, if you're going to invoke American case studies, at least pick ones that aren't apples to oranges. You know what I'm saying? And finally, he ends with this Fox philosophical flourish about the hour of dog and wolf will pass. Yes, Mr. Lee, it will. And when it does, your melodramatic K-pop obituary will read like fanfic propaganda, not serious reporting. And the funniest part is that the entire article tries to argue K-pop isn't dependent on one man, while still building an entire doom narrative around that one man. And that's the whole problem with Mr. Lee's piece, I think, because he's not informing, he's framing. And he will cherry pick credits, twist context, and toss in low permanent comparison just to make Bang Si-hyuk look like a liability. Meanwhile, Hive's own press office releases photos of Bang smiling with employees' families under fireworks, completely shattering the dark hour narrative that Mr. Lee is so desperate to sell. So let's call it what it is. I think Mr. Lee Jung-guk isn't protecting K-pop. He's protecting Min Hee-jin's PR line. And Hive releasing cheerful photos of Bang Si-hyuk at Family Night just blew a hole through his whole gloomy setup. That's why I think he could be quite mad. And the hypocrisy doesn't even stop here. Because just look at what Mr. Lee himself wrote on Facebook last year, back in September. So back then, he argued that NewJeans' dominance wasn't just about the members. It was thanks to Min Hee-jin, 250, and Frank, the producers, and her entire creative circle. That's what he literally wrote. He literally said NewJeans became a landmark in Korean pop history because of that leadership and vision. He even suggested that problems at Adore shouldn't be judged like ordinary companies because of their cultural uniqueness. So, which is it, Mr. Lee? When it's Min Hee-jin, one person matters so much that even workplace controversies get special treatment. But when it's Si-hyuk, suddenly one person never matters, and his track record of producing BTS classics can be brushed aside with, well, his name wasn't on Dynamite. And that's not consistency. That's something I would call agenda-driven framing. But, once again, he's a guy who flew all the way to Hong Kong to watch NewJeans, who at the time claimed to be NJZ, perform. And yeah, he even took photos of the fans and interviewed them. But, oh well. But here's a question for you. When visuals clash with the headlines and the agenda that some people try to push, who do people trust more? The photos showing normalcy or the articles predicting collapse? And if Si-hyuk eventually clears his name, will reporters like Lee Jung-guk be held accountable for the way they framed the industry in the meantime? And if he doesn't, will Hive's strategy of confidence still hold up? We'll have to see. Because in the end, maybe the real quote-unquote hour of dog and wolf isn't about Si-hyuk at all. Maybe it's about whether the public chooses to believe the story told by the cameras or the one told by the pens. Well, cameras in this case, these photos. Or maybe something entirely different. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts by writing comments. But when you do so, let's stay positive, respectful, and classy. By the way, it's good seeing him dressed very casually instead of suit and tie, because I mean, I don't know Si-hyuk personally, of course I don't, but I've seen him, meaning like through the media, and I listen to his music. What I'm trying to say is, I'm pretty sure that he's more comfortable wearing, like an artist as a musician, because he's a musician and artist at heart. And if I were Si-hyuk, I would be rather, chilling with fellow artists and fellow musicians instead of, attending like suit and tie meetings. Of course, those meetings are important, especially in today's Hive's context when it's trying to expand globally. But of course, I would rather not be questioned for 14 hours, 12 hours in suit and tie. But I don't know. He looks good. And it's good to see Hive staff members, employees, and the family members spending good time. Okay? So, there we go. Thank you guys. Peace and love. Bye-bye.